In Hollywood, careers often burn bright and fade fast. The spotlight can be unforgiving, the industry unpredictable. Yet some performers defy that cycle, not by chasing headlines, but by choosing substance over spectacle. Helen Hunt is one of those rare artists. Her story isn't built on scandal, reinvention gimmicks, or tabloid mythology. It's built on craft, on patience, on an unwavering commitment to emotional truth in front of the camera. From her early days as a child actress navigating the sets of 1970s television, to becoming one of the most beloved sitcom stars of the 1990s, to standing on the Academy Awards stage clutching an Oscar, Hunt's career reflects something deeper than fame. It reflects longevity earned through authenticity. What makes Helen Hunt especially fascinating is how seamlessly she moved between mediums. Television gave her recognition. Film gave her prestige. Independent cinema gave her creative freedom. And directing gave her a new voice altogether. Few actors managed to conquer one of those arenas. Hunt mastered them all, without ever losing her grounded presence. There was a moment in the late 1990s when she seemed unstoppable, earning $1 million per television episode, while simultaneously delivering Oscar-worthy performances on the big screen. But instead of riding the wave of celebrity, she stepped back. She recalibrated. She chose balance over burnout. That decision defines her just as much as any award. This is not just a story of a sitcom star turned movie icon. This is a journey of a woman who navigated Hollywood on her own terms, embracing vulnerability, complexity, and quiet strength in every chapter. Welcome to Cinema Uncovered. Today, we take a deep dive into the life, career, risks, triumphs, and enduring legacy of Helen Hunt. Long before awards, red carpets, and box office headlines, Helen Hunt was simply a child growing up in Culver City, California, surrounded by the rhythm of scripts, rehearsals, and studio lights. Born on June 15, 1963, she was raised in a household deeply rooted in the performing arts. Her father, Gordon Hunt, was a respected director and acting coach, and her mother, Jane Elizabeth Novus, was a photographer. Creativity wasn't a distant aspiration. It was part of daily life. Unlike many young performers who are thrust into fame unexpectedly, Hunt's introduction to acting felt organic. She accompanied her father to rehearsals and observed actors honing their craft. Those early experiences shaped her understanding of performance, not as a path to celebrity, but as disciplined work built on emotional honesty. She began acting professionally in the early 1970s, landing roles in television projects such as The Swiss Family Robinson and guest spots on popular series of the era. As a teenager, she appeared in shows like The Facts of Life, steadily building experience rather than instant stardom. Her early career was marked by consistency. She was dependable, expressive, and mature beyond her years. The 1980s became a crucial training ground. Hunt took on a mix of television, films, and supporting roles, including appearances on medical drama St. Elsewhere. She also starred in the short-lived sitcom It Takes Two. While none of these roles made her a breakout star, they sharpened her instincts. She learned timing in comedy, restraint in drama, and the technical demands of working on multi-camera and single-camera productions. What set Hunt apart during these formative years was her quiet intensity. Even in smaller roles, she projected intelligence and emotional depth. Casting directors noticed. She wasn't flashy, but she was real. By the late 1980s, Helen Hunt had spent nearly 2 decades in the industry. She had grown up on set. She understood rejection, perseverance, and the unpredictable nature of show business. And though mainstream fame had yet to arrive, the foundation had been carefully laid. The next opportunity wouldn't just change her career. It would redefine television romance for an entire generation. In 1992, after nearly 2 decades of steady work, Helen Hunt finally found a role that would transform her career and redefine the modern TV romance. Cast opposite Paul Reiser in the NBC sitcom Mad About You, Hunt stepped into the role of Jamie Buckman, a sharp, independent publicist navigating marriage in New York City. At first glance, the premise seemed simple, a show about a married couple dealing with everyday life. But what made Mad About You stand out was its realism. The arguments felt authentic. The affection felt earned. The humor came not from exaggerated punchlines, but from recognizable moments. miscommunications, career tensions, family dynamics, and the quiet negotiations of partnership. Hunt's performance was an emotional anchor. Jamie Buckman wasn't written as a sitcom stereotype. She was layered, ambitious, occasionally stubborn, and deeply loving. Hunt brought warmth and vulnerability to the role, balancing comedic timing with dramatic sincerity. Audiences saw themselves in her. Critics saw an actress operating at the top of her craft. As the show's popularity grew, so did Hunt's recognition. Between 1996 and 1999, she won 4 consecutive Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series, an extraordinary achievement that placed her among television's elite. She also earned multiple Golden Globe Awards for the role, solidifying her status as one of the defining faces of 1990s television. Behind the scenes, Hunt's influence expanded. She directed several episodes of the series, proving she wasn't just a performer, but a storyteller with a strong creative voice. By the show's final season, she and Reiser were reportedly earning $1 million per episode, making Hunt one of the highest-paid actresses in television history at the time. It was a milestone not just for her, but for women in the industry pushing for equal compensation and recognition. Yet, perhaps the most remarkable part of this era was balance. While leading a hit sitcom, Hunt was simultaneously building a film career that would soon explode into Oscar-winning territory. Very few actors managed to dominate television and cinema at the same time, but Helen Hunt was about to do exactly that. The small screen had made her a household name. The big screen was about to make her immortal. While ruling network television in the 1990s, Helen Hunt was quietly building a parallel career in film. Then came the year that changed everything, 1997. Hunt starred opposite Jack Nicholson in As Good as It Gets, a romantic dramedy directed by James L. Brooks. She played Carol Connolly, a single mother working as a waitress in New York City, juggling financial stress, a chronically ill son, and the emotional whiplash of dealing with Nicholson's obsessive-compulsive, socially abrasive novelist. Carol wasn't glamorous. She was exhausted, guarded, sharp-tongued when necessary, but deeply compassionate. Hunt infused the character with a raw emotional accessibility that made every line feel lived in. Her performance avoided melodrama. Instead, she chose restraint. When Carol finally breaks down in a quiet, vulnerable moment in the film, it lands with extraordinary force precisely because Hunt had held so much beneath the surface. The film was both a commercial hit and a critical darling. At the 70th Academy Awards, Helen Hunt won the Oscar for Best Actress. In the same ceremony, Nicholson won Best Actor, marking one of the rare times both romantic leads won in their respective categories. What made Hunt's win even more remarkable was timing. She was still starring weekly on a hit sitcom. It's almost unheard of for a television lead to win a Best Actress Oscar while actively headlining a network series. But that wasn't her only big screen triumph of the era. Just a year earlier, she had starred in the disaster blockbuster Twister alongside Bill Paxton. Playing storm chaser Dr. Joe Harding, Hunt stepped into a physically demanding, effects-heavy action role, vastly different from the intimate emotional terrain of As Good as It Gets. The film became one of the highest-grossing movies of 1996, proving she could anchor large-scale studio spectacles as convincingly as character-driven dramas. By the late 1990s, Helen Hunt had achieved a rare trifecta: television dominance, box office success, and Academy Award recognition. She wasn't confined to one lane. She moved seamlessly between comedy, drama, and action, between small-screen relatability and cinematic prestige. After the extraordinary peak of the late 1990s, Helen Hunt faced a pivotal crossroads. She had conquered television, won the Academy Award, and proven her box office strength. The easy path would have been to repeat that formula: more romantic leads, more studio films, more awards campaigns. Instead, she chose transformation. In 2000, she appeared opposite Tom Hanks in Cast Away. Though the survival drama largely centered on Hanks, character stranded alone on an island, Hunt's portrayal of Kelly Frears gave the film its emotional resonance. Her performance in the final reunion scene, quiet, restrained, devastating, remains one of the most heartbreaking moments in modern cinema. It was a reminder that Hunt didn't need constant screen time to leave a lasting impact. Following Cast Away, She stepped away from the relentless pace of blockbuster filmmaking. The decision surprised many, but for Hunt, it was intentional. After years of nonstop visibility, she sought creative control and personal balance. In 2007, she made her feature directorial debut with Then She Found Me, an adaptation of Eleanor Lippman's novel. Hunt not only directed the film but also starred in it, marking a significant evolution in her career. Moving behind the camera allowed her to shape stories from the ground up, exploring themes of motherhood, identity, and emotional vulnerability with a perspective uniquely her own. But perhaps her boldest performance of this era came in 2012 with The Sessions. Playing a sex surrogate who helps a man with polio experience intimacy, Hunt delivered a fearless, deeply humane performance. The role required both emotional openness and physical vulnerability, and she approached it with remarkable sensitivity. The result earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress and widespread critical acclaim. Helen Hunt is defined by courage, not the loud blockbuster kind, but the artistic kind. Helen Hunt chose complexity over comfort. She embraced smaller films, layered characters, and storytelling that challenged expectations. Rather than cling to the image that made her famous, she expanded it. In doing so, she proved that longevity in Hollywood isn't about staying the same. It's about growing, even when the spotlight dims, and trusting that meaningful work will always outlast hype. By the 2010s, Helen Hunt was no longer chasing the spotlight. She had already stood at its center. Instead, she embraced a phase of her career defined by intention, maturity, and selective storytelling. Following her Oscar-nominated turn in The Sessions, Hunt continued to gravitate toward character-driven roles. She appeared in independent films, television projects, and stage productions, consistently choosing material that explored emotional depth rather than spectacle. Her performances carried a lived-in authenticity, less about glamour, more about truth. In 2019, she returned to the role that made her a household name in the revival of Mad About You. Revisiting Jamie Buckman decades later allowed audiences to see the character evolve alongside Hunt herself. The revival wasn't just nostalgia. It was a reflection on long-term relationships, aging, and how love changes over time. Hunt's portrayal felt even richer, informed by decades of life experience. Beyond acting, she continued directing television episodes and advocating for stronger female representation behind the camera. Throughout her career, she has quietly challenged industry norms, whether through salary negotiations during her sitcom peak or by stepping into creative leadership roles. What distinguishes Helen Hunt's legacy is balance. She experienced overwhelming fame yet avoided being consumed by it. She reached the pinnacle of Hollywood success, yet willingly stepped back to protect her personal life and artistic integrity. In an industry often defined by reinvention crises, she navigated change with steadiness. Her career stands as proof that longevity doesn't require constant reinvention through spectacle. Sometimes it's built on craft, patience, and thoughtful choices. Helen Hunt may not dominate tabloid headlines, but her body of work, from television royalty to Oscar-winning film performances, continues to resonate. Interesting facts. Helen Hunt won the Academy Award for Best Actress in 1998 for As Good as It Gets while she was still starring on the hit sitcom Mad About You, a rare achievement for a television lead at the time. She won 4 consecutive Primetime Emmy Awards, 1996 to 1999, for a role as Jamie Buckman, making her one of the most awarded comedy actresses of the decade. During the final season of Mad About You, Hunt became one of the highest-paid actresses in television history, reportedly earning $1 million per episode, marking a major milestone for pay equity in TV. She directed multiple episodes of Mad About You and later made her feature directorial debut with Then She Found Me, 2007, proving her creative ambitions extended beyond acting. Her performance in The Sessions earned her a second Academy Award nomination, this time for Best Supporting Actress, more than a decade after her Oscar win. She starred in the disaster blockbuster Twister, which became one of the highest-grossing films of 1996 and cemented her status as a bankable box office lead. Hunt's father, Gordon Hunt, was a respected director and acting coach who directed numerous television episodes and mentored many performers. She is one of the few actresses to successfully transition from child actor to adult star without a major career collapse, a testament to her steady growth and disciplined approach to the craft. Outside of acting, she has long supported environmental causes and has been vocal about expanding opportunities for women both in front of and behind the camera. From child actress to sitcom icon, from blockbuster star to Academy Award winner, Helen Hunt built a career that defies the usual Hollywood arc. She didn't rely on spectacle. She didn't chase constant reinvention for attention. Instead, she chose authenticity. Again and again, she conquered television with Mad About You. She claimed Oscar gold with As Good as It Gets. She proved her blockbuster strength in Twister and delivered emotional depth in Castaway. And when she could have simply stayed in front of the camera, she stepped behind it, directing, producing, and shaping stories on her own terms. Helen Hunt's journey reminds us that true longevity in Hollywood isn't about constant visibility. It's about evolution. It's about knowing when to step forward and when to step back. It's about protecting your voice in an industry that can easily drown out. In a world that often rewards noise, Helen Hunt built a legacy on subtlety, intelligence, and emotional truth. Her career is proof that quiet strength can leave the loudest impact. This has been Cinema Uncovered, where we look beyond the spotlight and into the stories that define the stars.